like to know more about you.
Yeah. I'd like to know more about you too.
Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things on teen shows that make no sense.
I could love you forever.
So could I.
Well, well, well. Stop the presses. The Riverdale Rag finally reported a story accurately.
So, that's how you look when you've just woken up? Yeah.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most unrealistic parts of television series that depict the teenage experience. Which of these bothers you the most? Let us know in the comments. Number 10, The Parents.
Every good story needs a villain, Lucas. I'm sorry, but I'm yours.
The adults on teen shows typically fall into one of three categories. First, there's the parents that are essentially absentee, leaving their teenagers to fend for themselves. Sure, they make the occasional appearance when things get really bad, but most of the time their kids are left alone.
I'm really sorry about this morning with your dad. I had no idea he was there.
It's because he usually isn't.
Look no further than Peyton's adoptive dad, Larry, on One Tree Hill for a prime example of this.
He loves his job, you know? And after my mom died, it's just not fair to ask him to give that up. But I miss him when he's away.
Then there are the parents who do nothing but cause more problems for their kids. Hiram Lodge on Riverdale is a perfect illustration of this.
This is your punishment. You chose that boy over blood. My own daughter.
Lastly, there's usually one good parent, or set of parents, that somehow end up taking care of seemingly all the kids in town, like Sandy and Kirsten on the OC. Let's just say the parenting on these shows is far from ideal.
Where's,
Ryan's gonna stay with us now.
Number 9, the relationships. It's safe to say that for most people, their teenage years are a confusing time filled with insecurity.
what are you doing here?
What do you think, Colin?
Few people, if any, are really fully themselves yet at such a young age. It's a time for self-discovery and personal growth. 16-year-olds aren't supposed to have everything figured out. They're still essentially children after all.
I love you so much. It consumes me. I love you. I know you love me too.
Yet more often than not, their relationships on these shows seem to be so intense and super serious. There's even multiple instances where they get married.
I could love you forever.
So could I.
Don't get us wrong, we loved Naley on One Tree Hill, but we can't pretend their love story is realistic. Teen shows make it seem like you have to find your soulmate in high school and settle down by the time you're in your early 20s, when that's far from being the case in real life.
And now, before the eyes of God, I once again pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride.
I love you, Haley.
I love you too.
Number 8, the musicians that come to town. There always appears to be a big artist or band performing on these shows. Yet the venues are usually pretty modest and the price of entry appears to be low since the whole town can afford tickets.
Save some face. You know you've only got one.
Or worse, the stars are somehow convinced to perform at schools as if successful musicians aren't too busy playing crowded stadiums most nights.
You know who's up next?
Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, I heard that band sucks. The bass player's pretty cool.
We find it hard to believe that the tiny town of Tree Hill would get big names like Fall Out Boy to perform at the all-ages club Trick. Or that Lady Gaga would let a bunch of college kids watch her dress rehearsal like we see on Gossip Girl. Let's face it, no matter how nice it would be, these things don't typically happen. Number 7, the free time before school.
Soy, unsweetened, no foam. You deserve a medal.
Characters on teen series often seem to have infinite time in the mornings. It's hard to believe any teenager would willingly wake up hours earlier than they need to in order to get ready.
You know her better than any of us, Hannah. What do you think? I think there's more to the story.
Yet these teens somehow fit a whole day's worth of activities into one morning. They eat at a leisurely pace, hang out with the friends they're about to see at school, and even manage to squeeze in last-minute errands.
I've been given orders practically from God himself to avoid you.
Would you consider avoiding me over breakfast?
Sorry, but as is tradition, on the day before my birthday, I'm heading to the jeweler's to put some pieces on hold for Eleanor and
Nate?
And they do all this with smiles on their faces before the first bell of the day even rings. How do they make it to class on time?
Luke's special omelet. That is brand new. A new special? His 4-slice French toast has been up there since I was born.
If these shows were realistic, you'd see them rolling out of bed at the last minute, cranky, and rushing to get to school more often. Of course, that wouldn't be nearly as interesting.
How'd you know we were here?
Because you're always here.
We're not always here.
Number 6, dating teachers. A common thing that often happens on shows of this nature is that teenagers end up dating teachers at their school.
Holy crap.
They take what is known in the real world as inappropriate relationships and turn them into romanticized love stories that viewers are actually supposed to root for.
I'd like to transfer out of your class.
Pretty Little Liars, Arya and Ezra, anyone? And that's just one example out of many. Student-teacher relationships take place in far too many shows, like Gossip Girl and Dawson's Creek, to name a few more.
You're wrong about one thing, Pacey. You're not a boy.
By attempting to normalize this, teen shows send a dangerous message. The prevalence of this narrative arc completely downplays the improper and unprofessional nature of such relationships.
You know this can't last.
What can't?
Our staying away from each other.
Number 5, all the crime.
So there's no method to the killing now? No grand design? You're just a run-of-the-mill psychopath?
You need to come home, Betty, so we can talk and finish this.
Characters on teen shows often seem to find themselves caught up in crime. While the degree of mystery varies based on the program's identity, there's apparently no shortage of danger.
I suggest you run whilst you still can. I only miss when I mean to.
This can be through more out-of-the-box storylines like those we often see on Riverdale, or slightly more realistic ones like on One Tree Hill and Gossip Girl.
I killed someone.
From stalkers to murderers and everything in between, the main characters are constantly threatened.
You forgot to lock it.
I didn't forget.
Not only are they often the targets, the teens are also usually the ones who save the day. They rarely go to the police, and when they do, it's to no avail. It's safe to say most people don't face that many threats in their lifetime, let alone in high school.
You saved me.
You saved me too.
Number 4, how old they look.
I gotta go back. Try to figure some stuff out back home.
Anybody who watched a teen drama before starting high school was probably disappointed when they got there themselves. As one navigates adolescence, it becomes obvious pretty quickly that 16-year-olds don't actually look like our favorite series would have us believe. Of course, that's because the actors behind these roles are usually years older than the characters they play.
What's wrong with you? Jason is in the hospital and you won't even go and see him.
In other words, they've already gone through their awkward stage. For instance, Gabrielle Carteris was 29 years old when she got the part of 15-year-old Andrea Zuckerman in Beverly Hills 90210.
Brandon, come on. We are on a deadline.
I know deadline.
Tomorrow, or I do it myself. It's my reputation on the line.
Rare are the instances where the actor is roughly the same age as the teen they're portraying. While this casting practice is commonplace, it certainly creates a warped image of what teenagers actually look like.
Rory, if my parents still get upset over the obscene portion size of American food, I seriously doubt I'm gonna make any inroads with M&M.
Number 3, their outfits. First of all, where's the dress code at some of these schools? On Gossip Girl, they customize their uniforms to a point where you can barely even call them that anymore. Not to mention, certain characters walk around with purses way too small to fit any kind of school supplies. And it's not much better when they're out of class either. These teenagers are usually dressed to the nines and treat every hallway or sidewalk like it's a runway.
Guys, she doesn't know that we know.
Yeah, she will in a minute.
No, we don't let her know that we know. Not yet. We can use this. And we will.
Why is nobody wearing sweatpants and hoodies? Don't get us wrong, it's fun to see them rocking great fashion, and it's a great source of style inspiration. But we don't know many high schoolers who walk around in high heels and fancy dresses on the regular. Number 2, everybody always looks flawless.
So, that's how you look when you've just woken up?
The problem with teenagers' appearance on these series don't stop at how old they seem and the clothes they wear. From flawless skin to perfectly styled hair and muscular bodies, the characters always look gorgeous. Nothing is ever out of place. By watching them, you would think that every 16-year-old boy or girl in high school should constantly look like they're ready for a photo shoot. Where are the braces, the bad makeup, or even the lack of makeup altogether? While this portrayal of adolescence is certainly more glamorous than the real thing, it also sets super unrealistic expectations for teens who might struggle with the fact that they don't look like their favorite characters. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Nobody goes to class.
So these are just prototypes, but I introduce you to my new line, Clothes Over Bros.
TV teens spend their time doing anything and everything imaginable, other than actually going to class and learning, that is. When they are at school, you mostly see them lingering in the halls and talking. On the rare occasions when you see them in class, they're rarely paying attention.
Why don't you just call Ezra? If your first makeup test is in English, he could be your tutor.
Awkward.
Not to mention they are seldom shown studying for long. And somehow they have the time to run entire businesses on the side. Clothes Over Bros on One Tree Hill, La Bonne Nuit on Riverdale, and the list goes on.
How are you ladies doing tonight? Tony, you look dashing.
V, your bar is amazing.
Thank you.
Yet they set their sights on prestigious colleges and somehow manage to get admitted. If only it were that easy in real life.
I know I must seem rather traditional compared to that young lady, but isn't tradition what Yale is all about?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Ms. Mojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.